Hello, my dear students. Welcome once again to Zenith Academy Online. My name is Fatima Hora, and today we are going to study General Science from Class 8th Maharashtra State Board. Today, we are going to complete the remaining part of Disaster Management. Disaster Management Part 2. Let's get started. The first topic is fire. We all know what fire is. We come across fire in our day-to-day life. But can this fire be a natural calamity or a man-made disaster? Yes, it is. Now let us study the types of fire. Fire is classified into various types or classes based on how it is occurred and what are the means by which it can be put out. Extinguished. So let's move ahead. The first one is class A fire, that is solid substances. Now, commonly flammable materials are the fuel sources. It means these materials which catch fire or which are the source of fire are mostly solids, and they are also used as fuel in day-to-day life. Such materials are wood, clothes, coal, papers, etc. When such materials they catch fire on a huge scale and cause fire or a destructive fire, that is called as class A fire, and this fire can be easily put out with water. Next is class 2 fire or class B fire, which occurs due to liquid substances. Now these are liquid flammable substances. While we use certain disinfectants or cooking oil, paints, etc., we have always observed this, that there is a flammable symbol, a symbol of a small fire on that bottle. Means these liquids can easily catch fire. Now all the substances that are lighter than water catch fire easily, and therefore water cannot be used as for fire extinguisher over here. Therefore we need a fire extinguisher cylinder. So liquid substances that catch fire are classified as class B fire. Third one is class C fire, fire that occurs due to gaseous substances like acetylene, household gas, that is LPG, CNG. There is a leakage in these gases, and then fire occurs on a huge scale. So that is classified as class C fire. Next one is class D fire. This occurs due to chemical substances. Now, fire caused due to combustible metals like potassium, sodium, calcium, which react with water. A reaction, how it happens when we use these materials in laboratories for certain experiments. We always use water. Obviously, water is present everywhere. So these metals, they react with water at normal room temperature. No certain temperature or heating or cooling is not required. So when they react with water, they can cause fire. Magnesium, aluminium and zinc react with water at high temperature. And when both the groups combine together with water, it explodes. Explodes is a explosion of fire that takes place, and that therefore such chemical substances which give rise to fire are classified as class D fire. Next is class E fire. It is caused due to electrical substances, electrical items. Now, we have heard that due to short circuit or loose wiring, there was a accident of fire. So, fire caused due to electrical components is class E fire. And to extinguish such fire, first step required is power cut, that is power off, and non-conductive fire extinguishers. Now, what does non-conductive fire extinguishers mean? Sorry. Non-conductive means the materials such that do not conduct fire, means will not catch fire. So that these are extinguishers which are made of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a gas which will not support fire and also not burn itself. So that is why it is called as non-conductive fire. So here we have studied the 5 types or 5 classes of fire. Next is methods of fire extinction. Now there are 3 main methods to stop the spread of fire or to control fire. First one is cool out. cool out is use of water. Now in emergency situation, whenever we see the fire, the first and preliminary step is to put water on it. That is to cool out the fire. It is the most common and most effective solution available everywhere, that is easily available. If you spray water on fire, around the fire, it creates a cooling effect, and therefore the effect of fire is sublimized or is depressed, and therefore water helps to control the fire. Second step is suppress the fire. Now the fire which is caused due to electricity or oil, there you cannot use fire water as a direct extinguisher. There you will have to use sand or soil. Now sand and soil are non fire conducting. They will not catch fire, and also they will not support burning. So that is why they are used as extinguishing materials, or the materials which can suppress fire in case where you cannot use water. Now if we spread a froth like substance on fire, the connection between fire and atmosphere is cut off. We have all learned in a very basic standards that fire is fire occurs, or oxygen in the air supports burning. So air is very necessary, oxygen is very necessary for a flame to keep on burning, for a fire to keep on burning. So when we put a layer of soil or sand or a froth like substance on the fire, the connection between that fire and the air is cut off, means it will not get oxygen, and therefore this fire will be put off. So this method is more useful to extinguish fire that is spread due to oil or electricity. Mostly oil. Electricity wale mein we will have to use non-conductive materials. Next one is keep flammable substances away. Now if there is a fire at a particular place, and that place is surrounded by other flammable substances like acetylene, kerosene, paints, varnishes, etc., then all these materials also will catch fire, and it will be a huge mass destruction. So wherever such accidents occur, first we have to keep all the flammable substances away, and also all the wooden article should be kept away, because wood also easily catches fire. Also, stir up pump is the best device to put off small fires. It sprays water in all the direction, and therefore the fire can be easily put off. So these were the three methods that we saw. First one is cool off, second is suppress the fire, and third one is keep all the flammable substances away. Next one is precautions and safety measures. Now, what are the precautions that can be taken, and what are the safety measures that can be taken to prevent occurrence of such fires? First one is that we should develop a habit of switching off gas and gas regulator and all the electrical switches whenever not in use. As soon as we are moving out of the house, even for a short duration or a day or two, we should form a habit to put off the gas knob, and also switch off all the electrical switches or cut off the main supply, so that accidents don't happen. Second is to make others alert and call them for help. In any case of accident, the first protocol is to shout for help, because the other person, even your neighbors, won't know until and unless you shout, because they will come to know only when this fire spreads on a very huge scale, and it will destroy more. So it's better to shout for help and call for help. Third one is call the fire brigade immediately. And last one is provide information how to use fire extinguishers. Now these first aid measures or such training is given mostly everywhere, in schools and in offices also. This is a basic protocol, and also steps or measures to be taken are also printed and put up near the fire extinguishing cylinders, so that whenever such accident happens, we all know what and how it is to be done. Next is, in case of burns, let the patient first sit or sleep in a comfortable position and call doctor for help immediately. Do not try to give him water or feed him. Next topic is landslide. Now, what is a landslide? Landslide, a piece of land that slides. Let's see the definition. Natural cracks and fissures present in hard rocks cause their breaking. Now, what is cracks? In mountains or land, there are cracks. Wherever there is a low plantation or the soil is very dry, there cracks occur in the landforms. So these cracks or fissures, they are present in hard rocks and they cause their breaking. Especially at the time of heavy rain, water enters in these cracks, and then what happens, due to the force of water, these cracks widen and eventually weathering of rocks takes place. Weathering is breaking. Weight increases and these rocks slide on the slopy region. For example, see, if this is a mountain, this particular part has a crack, fissure. So the rainwater will get accumulated inside. Due to the force of rainwater, this rock will break and eventually slide here on the slopy region and settle down somewhere on the lower altitude. So this is called as a collapse of rift or landslide. The land from this higher altitude or a mountainous region has slide down to the lower area. This is a landslide or a rift collapse. Let's move ahead. After effects of natural disasters. Now, what are the causes of landslide that we are studying? So, first one is that after effects of natural disasters like earthquakes, tsunami, heavy rains, flood, storms, etc. Now, whenever such natural calamities occur, what happens is that the landform of that particular area is affected, and due to that, landslide can occur. Then second one is unlimited cutting. Unlimited cutting of trees causes soil erosion. Why? Because trees, the root of trees, they bind the soil together, hold it together firmly. If you cut all the trees, the soil of that particular region loses its grip, and therefore landslide can take place. Next one is, while building roads in mountains, there is a lot of digging work that makes the mountains weak. So that is the reason that landslide might occur, because the mountain becomes weaker and the cracks, if present, they will grow more deeper, and if not present, a small crack might occur when you are drilling the mountain. So these are the causes of landslide. Now, after the causes, let's move ahead to the effects of landslide. Now, whenever a piece of land has shifted and slide it down towards a lower altitude area, obviously it will cause some effect on the life of plant and animal in that particular area. So first one is that rivers get flooded and change their path. Now that particular piece of land might settle down somewhere in the river or near the river bank, due to which the river might get flooded, or else it might change its path and move in a different direction. The second one is displacement of waterfalls and formation of artificial water reservoir. What does this mean? Now we saw that if there is a mountain, if this is a mountain, this piece of land has shifted here. So there is a crack or gap over here. So what will happen? This crack or gap will fill itself with water during rainfall, and this will be a formation of artificial water reservoir. Also, the particular waterfall which was present over there will no longer be there. Next one is, there is life and financial loss on a large scale, as trees, building, rocks on a slopy area collapse to the low-lying land. We have seen that there are many villages that settle in the slopes of mountains. Now, due to landslide, that entire village might get destructed. Trees, plantation, and other constructions might get destructed. Fourth one is, landslide affect the traffic. Obviously, whenever we travel on the winding roads on a mountain, there are times when the road is closed or blocked, mostly during the rainy seasons because of landslide. So it affects the traffic. And last point is landslide destroys plant life. That is the most important because the entire plantation on that particular area is destroyed due to the landslide. This next part is disaster relief. Now, disasters happening might be man-made or natural. Some cannot be controlled. But what can be done after a disaster has occurred? So that is disaster relief. And there are certain points given over here. This is a small mock drill procedure that can be carried out in different organizations like schools, societies, buildings, corporate houses. This here they have given a small drill procedure for a school. Primary information of the school has to be noted, like name and address of the school and headmaster, contact numbers of the staff, total numbers of school members, etc. Next is school disaster management committee should be formed. There must be people who are in charge of this management of this committee, and there should be a fire extinguisher. Then they must create awareness. Instructions should be given to all the staff and teachers. Then traffic management should be there in case of such calamities that happen or disasters that happen. And there should be communication committee, the committee which is in charge of telling people, telling staff and the students, giving them knowledge about what has to be done in case of such emergency situations. Then next is the detailed information about school building. Building infrastructure is very necessary, that how the building is constructed, how many entry and exit points are there, what are the number of rooms, number of classrooms, what is the type of roof, means in case of earthquake or something, if these information is available, so it is easier for the relief management team to remove the people out of that disaster or the calamity that has occurred. Also, age of the building is necessary because as years pass, the building ages and then the construction becomes old and weak. Next is information about school ground, how big it is and what kind of games can be played and how much is the distance of the ground from the main road, so that people can run and take solace in the open ground in case of calamities like earthquake. Then daily routine of the school, time of school start, then when is the break, leaving of the school, daily activities that takes place in the school, so that it gives a detailed knowledge of what kind of activities are carried out at what particular time. Then next is possible hazards in school, like schools have laboratories, schools have computer labs, so there is a possible hazard of chemical explosion or fire taking place in the computer lab due to short circuit, etc. Disaster management map should be prepared, that in case of, God forbidden, in case of any calamity where everybody has to assemble, there should be assembly point where people gather in case of such calamity. There should be proper exits noted and everybody must be aware of it so that they can save their own lives. And mock drill should be carried out every month so that everybody who come to that school or that particular building daily are aware of what steps have to be taken in such situations. Then work of institutes. Institutes means the organizations that are in charge of these disaster management relief, or other institutes which give us information about when can a particular calamity or disaster happen, might happen, like landslide or something. It is the Mountaineering Institute, Indian Mountaineering Institute. They work in collaboration with the Government of India and International Center for Integrated Mountain Development. These are institutes who have launched a program to forecast landslide, because there are mountaineering institutes. They study the details of the mountain of that particular region and they can forecast, means they can give an approximate time of that particular mountain to detach a piece or landslide occurring in that particular area. Then next is Institute of Geology. Geology is a department that studies the geography of that of any particular region. And so Institute of Geology and World Geological Forum, these two institutes also help in forecasting certain natural calamities. So here we come to end of this chapter, disaster management. And what have we learned in this? Part 2 is we have learned the types of fire which are classified accordingly to the substance that caused the fire, and also we studied the methods of fire extinction, precautions and safety measures to be taken in case of fire outbreak. And second disaster that we studied about was landslide, its causes and effects, and disaster relief steps to be taken. What can we do in such situation, and work of institutes which work to help us to overcome such disasters. So my dear students, stay tuned on Zenith Academy for more such educational and informative videos.